Hey guys, welcome to another session of Epic 7. Been a very long time since I made a video, but this arena comp that I've been playing with has been so consistent. I'm just getting win streak after win streak, so I just wanted to share this and make a video about it because it was really fun. One, I got to feature Jenua, one of my favorite husbandos that's been released recently, and then obviously the Sea Phantom Politis, which is really good combo with Jenua, with A Taiwan, just because of that rage buff. As you can see in the first fight there, my Politis got outsped by the opponent. Just the speed meta is just insane. People are getting like 310, 315 speed Politises and whatever, and I'm just like, what the heck, when can I be that fast? But either way, outside of the complaint, even though that they got the first turn, it didn't bother my comp, as you can see. The Angel of Light is going to be a key pillar in this comp because it lands more debuffs, it stalls them for one turn, so that their A Taiwan can't heal. So what I'm fighting is currently like a variation of seemingly the meta defense at the moment, and I'm not quite sure that it's going to be the meta for a really long time. I'm not quite sure. I think that people are going to interplay it differently, but what you will see is most likely an A Taiwan on Aureus, Sea Phantom Politis obviously, and then a Jenua as a damage dealer, and then they'll vary the fourth character. As you see there, this one's with a Fire Politis, and there's like what's it called, MLU Fiend, ML Landy, all the previous season meta defense heroes as well, Luluka. So in this entire fight, you will see me fighting everything. Now what I'm also doing is that I'm not gonna edit this. It's all a streak. Alright, so I'm gonna buy flags, I'm gonna go through it, and basically what this is proving is just that I'm not allowing RNG, sorry, I'm allowing the game's RNG in terms of, you know, whose defense is brought up to me to be kind of like a definiting factor of how sustainable this team comp I'm using is. Right, so that's like the real purpose, right? So I'm not trying to clickbait and, you know, make people think that this is OP, you're gonna be Legend Arena if you run this comp. I'm not saying that. I'm playing this on a Saturday afternoon, and I'm not, this is not Arena Rush. So the defenses here might not even reflect, if you're pushing like top 100 like Legend, this is not even probably not going to reflect what happens at Rush Hour. So just take it with a grain of salt. This video is purely just because I found this comp to be really fun and kind of consistent. Now this one, I do believe that the knockwall being slow is my win factor. If that knockwall was faster than my Politis, I think I lose. Just because my characters will get reset, and I kind of need my characters to actually have the turn. So for this one, I would chalk it up to my win was just because I outsped. At least the what's it called, the knockwall. The Sea Phantom Politis probably doesn't matter as much, but I guess if she pushed me back, knockwall would have got the turn anyway. So yeah, so maybe the outspeed of both was the key win here. But again, just keep in mind that my purpose of the video is not to showcase, like, you know, use this comp, be Legend Arena player, but rather it's just like, if you're gonna, you know, go through the team comps, this is like a no-brainer. Again, I'm not changing characters, I'm not changing comps. It's one comp, one stat line, not changing artifacts, and I'm just like running through it. It's almost an auto comp, but obviously not as long as auto, and you still need to kind of target the right targets depending on the fight. It's just that it's really cool that it's just one team. So again, the A Taiwan here, even though he has rage, even though I'm debuffed, do keep in mind that obviously we get the cleanse from A Taiwan, and even if there's one debuff left, if the game doesn't glitch out, it's always the defense break that's lasted, but you also got the skill knot from Angel of Light. So even if an opponent's A Taiwan hits you, you're still safe for a quote-unquote one more turn, and you can shake off that defense break. Obviously you see the A Taiwan self-cleanse there as well for the team, so that was also really good. Now I will also note that a lot of the defenses I'm fighting right now, because it's not Rush Hour, people who have really good gear are probably not as high right now in terms of as high up. So I could also be fighting players with gear that are not as good. I don't want to make it sound like they're bad. I'm just saying that they might not be as strong as they could be. Not that my characters being offense here are really insane either. Of course, I'll show the stats of my builds at the end of the fights here, but it's just that one thing to consider. Again, my purpose is not to try to oversell or try to false market this team. But I played with this team comp for a week. I was basically trying to run a fourth, and at first I was doing like Nakwa in between there and even a Fire Politis, but then I started realizing a lot of the opponents or the defenses I fought, Angel of Light was actually the perfect book holder for me. So I was like, okay, let's run her. Now, if you know me, I actually don't like Angel of Light. I never liked her. When she was released, she was too powerful, and she's arguably still very powerful. Of course, there are ways to deal with her now, but there's just something about that overpoweredness that made me always hate her. So I hardly ever used her. In World Arena, when I actually played, I always pre-banned her and Bellion. So I never really got to use her at all. So this is ironically one of the first times I'm actually playing with Angel of Light and really liking her, because she brings such a strong debuff and then the mitigation element in terms of her skill null. So like I'm not worried about like Euphine. Like if you're running like Sea Phantom Politis, you don't need to worry about Landy and Euphine. I would say Landy, ML Landy is probably a bit more scary than Euphine, but Euphine will never be able to S3. It's just because the reduction in the resource is so big that she would just never get there. Like even if you have Holy Sack on her, she's dead. Especially with this team. I haven't found a team where Euphine is good as long as I can run Politis. So, but I don't know. Take that. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there is a comp where it makes her usable in a defense comp when you bring a Politis. But Politis does so much to reduce that resource. But Landy, the thing with ML Landy is that she doesn't even need to S3 to kill your entire team, technically. Because if she just keeps countering and healing and AoEing with salvo fire or whatever, then you're kind of screwed anyway. So for this fight, I want to note this as well. I'm bringing it into Karina specifically. But again, the Angel of Light does so much to Karina because you got the unbuffable, you've got the silence. So there's just a lot. Like Karina here can't really even stop Jenua, which is, you know, really unthinkable in a way, but with the right support, Jenua being the sole damage dealer here, it's just like whatever, Karina, who cares, right? So obviously we got the ignore resistance, stun and defense break. Obviously the proc rate is not like 100%, but it is very high. One of the reasons why you can't really auto this is because ideally you want Jenua when he has rage to do the S1 so he gets the attack buff into the S3. Whereas if you just straight up S3 unless you had attack buff from an outside source, you're not going to do as much damage. And obviously you would know, of course, that how Jenua works, so the higher the attack, the stronger the splash damage from the S3. But it is very satisfying though, definitely. I like Jenua already, but Sea Phantom Politis was like a must pull if you want to play Jenua. Obviously heroes later on that might get released that benefit from rage buff will also make Politis' value higher. So just really keep that in mind. Like right now we have a Tywin and you can say Fire Ken, I guess, but Fire Ken's a single target, it's much harder to use. I can't think of anyone else who... Taeyu, I suppose. Taeyu is relatively good CR manipulation, debuff, pushback, all that kind of stuff, and apparently he does good damage now, I don't know. But yeah, he would benefit from it as well. Maybe I'll play around with that, but so far I feel like this team that I have got going is insanely good. Yeah, so the Angel of Light become very important there. The speed tuning should be quicker than A Tywin, so that you get the unbuffable and then the silence first. So that A Tywin, if you hit him with your A Tywin, AoE, he can't cleanse. Or he can't get the rage buff for the entire team. And he can't cleanse enough of the debuffs for the stun not to be there from your A Tywin. That's a mouthful. But if you're watching, most of my commentary doesn't matter anyway, because this should make sense to you. Yeah, because like with this comp, like what is Euphine gonna do? Like if she attacks down, A Tywin cleanses the attack down. She's potentially defense braked. Her resources are just not filling up, so she can't S3. And then you got Angel of Light skill null if it hasn't popped off. It just protects for another turn. So like I think Eowyn in the defense, like if she was even dead last season, she's dead for sure. Like she's not a defense hero anymore in my opinion. Maybe in Guild War becomes a different beast because you got a 3-man strategy. But in the 4-man team, I don't think so. At least that's my like assessment from my experience right now. So their Sea Phantom Politis beat mine again, right? Yeah, I think it did. I wasn't really watching what happened, but yeah, so as you can see, like it doesn't matter with this comp if their Sea Phantom Politis beats you, because you have Angel of Light. That's the thing. Because most of these defenses, it's like if they run Sea Phantom Politis, they gotta run A Tywin. Because they're thinking like, oh, like as long as you don't have like you can't even cleanse it. I guess the only way for you to not lose, I guess, if you could run like a hand guy, like somewhere that can cleanse right after the A Tywin or something, or even before, it's fine. So realistically, there are ways around this comp. It's not impossible to figure out. But again, the way that I'm playing with this is just way more fun. Like I'm kind of bored using hand guy, you know. Yeah, so again, we're just going through the streaks, no refreshing. I'm looking at these teams and I'm kind of sweating too. Like so I haven't seen a green Celine on defense in a while. I really haven't. And I think the green Celine in this defense is literally just to counter the ML Politis, because I haven't seen her in a while. Like she stopped working on defense, I think, since Almid. And then what's her name? Knockwall didn't help her either. So I felt like yeah, that was kind of unlucky. He actually got the hit, but I think even with the miss with the attack buff, my Jenua probably would have already triggered the rage. So this one was a bit more tricky, I will admit. But the good thing is, again, running 2 debuffers, Arwell has no mitigation now, and that means Celine here is gonna be an easy death. The only thing I had to play for this one that was slightly different was that I couldn't use S3 A Tywin, because once I miss Aiden, my my Jenua gets revealed and he gets killed. Since Celine did already proc my immortality. But again, like also the Jenua's like splash is just so powerful that Aiden's, it's hard for Aiden's to work. Probably still works, but harder. So all I wanted to do here was do the splash damage to kill off that Aiden. The 9k splash. I'm not going to be pushing arena. I did top 30 arena 3 seasons in a row, and then I think top 100 about 2 or 3 seasons in a row, and I got really burnt out in terms of just bored. So I don't think even I'm going to be going for any type of legend this season. I just gotta take a break. I'm just gonna have fun with the game. I don't want myself to hate the game. So this one I chose to, again, yeah, I couldn't do an S3 because they got Angel of Light. That became a bit tricky. So I had to provoke her. I had to make sure that she didn't go off. Although A Tywin's provoke, I don't think it's 100%. I actually don't remember. But sometimes I miss the provoke, so we did get lucky there. I'd say that was a bit fortunate. It's a proof of valor one, so it was kind of annoying. But that Aiden was so slow with the speed down that it just didn't really matter. And then the unbuffable really good again, because then no one gets invincibility. So yeah, I feel like my offense team is pretty cool. I didn't really mind going into Landy there. It's just because like she could have procced my Angel of Light, but I guess Aiden could have too. That was a miss, so it was very powerful. 7,000 damage on a miss. I'm just trying to click through this ASAP, quick. So again, this is now in legend rank 30. But like I said, it's not a boast. This is not, you know, not competitive right now. The roster here is most likely not the players who will end up in the last 100. In this last fight, because it's the last free flag I had, I was gonna choose something that was a bit different. I chose Jenua on purpose because again, my Angel of Light, it does come first, but Angel of Light is not necessary. But it was a surprise for me to see that Jenua was on the secret sword artifact, which is interesting because that was one of the issues that I felt with this defense comp is like, how do you bridge your damage dealer and not have like an a hand guy kind of cleanse before then? But like this kind of makes sense. He gets the attack buff, right? And on a defense team, I think the secret sword or anything that gives you attack buff is probably pretty good, especially they have a Politis going, so he would have his rage already, so he would just basically just do the S3 first as the AI. But anyways, the Zeo hardly did anything, to be honest. I felt that might have even been easier. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the fights. We're gonna get right into the builds. Hey, so hopefully you guys enjoyed the fights and the commentary behind them. I'm just gonna show the builds, but before I do that, I want to thank you guys again. If you're watching this on YouTube and you're watching up to here, obviously this thank you is meant for you. This thank you is meant for everyone who supported me and who has been just very kind and, you know, being really patient. You know that my life has changed, so content generation for Epic 7 has not been my priority. But again, this team has been such a cool and fun thing for me. Sometimes they just come out with heroes or combos of heroes just get me inspired to actually just do stuff. And this one definitely was one of them. But if you're watching on YouTube, I thank you so much. And I have to, you know, give a big shout out and big thank you to those who support me on Patreon as well. The Patreon is definitely not what it used to be, but the people who are still supporting me there they're just, you know, lovely people. So, you know, Light, Deek Boy, Stone Thunder, you guys, if you guys are watching this, thank you again. Big shout out. So let me quickly show the builds. Not really even that special, as I mentioned, but the Angel of Light, here we go. So Angel of Light is here. This is like, I don't know, what we would call secondary gear, even maybe like tertiary gear. You see, like there's a lot of stuff that, you know, anyone can build this. The speed tuning is just kind of like a happy accident. I wanted him to be faster than A Tywin for multiple reasons, but I think it's just really a happy accident. Having the defense on everyone else, I mean, you could increase the self-effectiveness, but I didn't think that it was necessary, to be honest. As you saw the fights and with the current meta at the moment. But the Targo's Ancient Book is the big one for me. But you did see in the fights, I brought into a Bellion. Same exact team. I didn't care about the Bellion, to be honest, but like when you have the souls, why not? So she's mainly a soul holder plus this extra protection and debuff, which is really good right now. I know Angel of Light has always been good, but you know, I haven't used her in a very long time. A Tywin, I gave him some decent-ish gear. I mean, this is not like great functionally, but like it's like decent speed so that he can get the speed tuning that I kind of wanted. Again, not amazing gear. I have like better. I didn't want to spare for it because if I'm gonna use them in this kind of cleave, then, you know, this is all that's needed. And just with an Aureus for that extra protection. Imprint, you know what, it doesn't even matter if you're self or not. I don't think it really matters, to be honest, but I would just probably put it on the self imprint. You could do HP imprint as well, but most likely your Jenua is going to survive regardless of the HP buff. And Angel of Light is going to be so protected from Aureus and herself that the fight should be over, right, if you land all your debuffs. I'm going to show Jenua next. My Jenua is actually pretty bad. Torn set for sure, you want to do that. But the gear screw on it, if you just, you know, take a quick glimpse, it's pretty bad. This chest pretty much saves his entire build with the speed and the crit damage being at 103. But realistically, we're not even looking at the 9% health, so we're still talking about like a 90, 95-ish. But yeah, so, and then this is like atrocious. This I rolled just to complete his build, and I was like, okay, whatever. It has all damage stats. Let me just use it. The 19 crit rate really saved it, but obviously if he was triple S, it could go with probably more aggressive gear. And then this one as well, kind of sad, but it was like a drop from a long time ago. I don't have a lot of selection for this, but I am farming the Overlord collab right now and hoping to get some good Destro sets, hopefully. But either way, if you look at the gear score, if it's like really fine-tuned damage gear score, then this Jenua can be like, you know, like almost 4.5k, and especially if you have imprints. Wind Rider plus 30 is a must, and then the last one is obviously the feature here would be the Phantom Sea Politis. So this is my Politis right now. It's 305. It's not the fastest. I know that people are running like 310 easy now, which is insane. It just really demoralizes people who can't roll speed. But it is what it is for now. I had to obviously rearrange the gear to give her the speed that I'm at, but to be honest, it doesn't matter. In one of the fights, if you recall, my Politis got outsped, and when I started testing this comp, she was only at 301. So I gave her an extra 4 purely for defense sake, but offense wise, if you run with Angel of Light, A Tywin herself, I almost, like, I'm stress testing, right? That was the whole point of me doing the run without skipping any fight. It's just like, you know, whatever RNG gives me in terms of team comps, let's try it out. And you know, I've been doing this for a week and I felt like it's pretty consistent. That's why I even made the video. The triple S story is pretty easy. It's not because I'm a whale or whatever, it's just because I got a lot of fire Politis. So I if you watched my, oh, actually no, I didn't even upload that clip, but I basically tossed one of my secondary Politis who was triple S into this one, easy triple S. So the attack 10% obviously is really good if she's meant to support aggressive play. I actually don't like her self imprint. If I'm gonna review her, I don't like her self imprint. I feel it's kind of useless because if she's out of rage buff, she doesn't even do attack. So it's just like, it just feels kind of like she's got the 2 turns with the whole team comp to kind of really kill off the entire opponent team. So I feel like the HP percent on her is kind of useless. I wish it was effectiveness, but I guess it would be too easy, you know? It's like too expected. So that's pretty much it. Artifact wise, let me know in the comments down below what you guys are running with her. I was considering Warhorn, to be honest, because again, at least the way I'm using her in arena offense, granting stealth, even though it's at 80%, granting stealth isn't even that important. I can see in maybe World Arena that might be important, but definitely not in like controllable offense comp. The only thing I like about it, I guess, is the increase in 20 effectiveness, since it was hard for me to get the effectiveness. If you saw the gear, I mean, I guess I don't have a hit set completed. One day I'll get a 23 hit set maybe, and I can complete that. But then outside of that, it's yeah, it's been like pretty hard to get the effectiveness. That's why I'm relying on a soul burn when I can. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in terms of artifact. Even considering maybe the infinity basket to increase the attack of the ally who is drawn in terms of the dual attack. I don't know, I'll probably play around with it, but it probably doesn't change the way I would run my comp anyway. So anyways, I'll end that here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed watching that, maybe learned something. I'm kind of washed, so you know, take it with a grain of salt what you learned from it, but I do think that this comp was really fun. So if you're having difficulty with the current meta, maybe try to run this comp. Maybe it's fun for you, maybe it's, you know, easier to say the least. But yeah, so thanks for watching. I'm gonna end this here. I guess if you want to subscribe to YouTube, you can feel free to subscribe, but otherwise join the Discord so we can have a chat. I'm gonna end this here. Talk to you guys next time.